often is voting here?
No, yeah, 4 years.
What's it, 4 years?
Yes. Okay. Good.
Okay, Baruch Hashem. Okay, so let's see who we have here today.
And Van Dijk. Okay.
Okay, so we haven't got Pussy here today. Pussy's gone.
No, I don't know what was with her. She's not there.
Okay, very good. So whoever's with us is good. Okay, so we're going to go interessante halachische discussie, as they say, but we're going to go a little bit backwards and a little bit forward. A little bit on last Shabbos and a bit coming into Pesach. Be'ezrat Hashem. We are between Pesach and between Purim and Pesach. So we had already Shabbos Shkolim. We had already Shabbos Zocher. This week is Shabbos Purim, and then we have Shabbos HaChodesh. So last Shabbos was Shabbos Hafsoka. There was no extra Kriyas HaTorah. But this week, Be'ezrat Hashem, is Shabbos Purim, and then comes Shabbos HaChodesh. So we are between Adar and Nisan. So we're going to discuss a halacha which is connected to Adar, and we're going to discuss another halacha which is Be'ezrat Hashem connected to the month of Nisan. So let's first start with something which is connected to Adar, because we are still in Adar, and then afterwards we'll go to something in Nisan, because that's coming Be'ezrat Hashem soon. Okay. Last Shabbos, we know, was a Purim Meshulash. I mean, the Purim was spread out over a Friday, Shabbos, and a Sunday. Now, there's a famous, interesting halacha which we all know, which we want to discuss. And that is, if Rosh Hashanah falls on a Shabbos, we know we don't blow shofar. If Sukkot is on Shabbos, we don't shake the lulav. If Purim is on Shabbos, we don't read the Megillah. Why? What is the reason why, if it falls on Shabbos, we don't do these mitzvahs? Who knows? Anyone knows what the reason is?
The carrying.
Oh, very good. So then we'll start from there. The Gemara tells us, exactly like you're saying, Mr. Van Parach, that if Rosh Hashanah falls on a Shabbos, don't blow the shofar, because you might come to carry. What will you come to carry? Explains the Gemara. You might come to carry your shofar. Why will you carry it? Because you're not sure how to blow it. You're not sure if it became possible. You have a question on your shofar. You have a question on the tkiyas. You'll go ask your neighbor, your friend, your rabbi what to do. So you might come to carry your shofar. So even though in Amsterdam there's an Eruv, or in most Jewish or many Jewish communities today in the world, there's an Eruv, but because there might be a place where there is no Eruv, and a person might come to ask a question on his shofar, because of all these maybe, therefore we don't blow the shofar on Rosh Hashanah if Rosh Hashanah falls on Shabbos. Which is interesting, right? Because really there's a...
I think there's another reason.
Sorry? What did you say?
There's another reason, I suppose, because I think there is another reason.
Yeah,
because
why?
I think that when you could trust anyone in the shul and you bring before Yom Tov or before Shabbos a shofar or a lulav, and even or a Megillah, and it could be saved in a safe place, then there is no reason why you couldn't use it. The only thing is that people are afraid for the carrying, for the Avera. But in case there would be enough trust for each other in order to do so, it could be done on Shabbos. All of them.
So in theory, you're right. That if a person would not carry it, then he should have done the mitzvah of blowing the shofar. But we see how worried Chazal were that because someone might, in a one-off place, have a question, forget it's Shabbos, be in a place where there's no Eruv, carry it for Amos and Rosh Hashanah, because of all that maybe, therefore no one blows the shofar. Till today, 2,500 years later, in the year Tovshin Pei Aleph, we don't do a mitzvah like that of blowing the shofar on Shabbos because of that one person, perhaps, maybe. Now, if you think about it, sounds a little bit crazy because we have a mitzvah d'oraisa written in the Torah that on shofar, on Rosh Hashanah, we blow the shofar. We have a mitzvah d'oraisa on Sukkot to shake the lulav. Ulekachtem lochem b'yom harishon. It's a mitzvah d'oraisa. Chazal came and said, no, because maybe a person might have a question in a place where there is no Eruv and he forget, therefore he is told not to do the shofar, and because of that there is till today no lulav on Shabbos, no shofar on Shabbos, and this goes a stage further. And the Gemara tells us, what happens if Purim falls on Shabbos? We don't lay the Megillah. Why don't you lay the Megillah? Same point. Because maybe you're going to have a question on the Megillah, and therefore you're going to ask the Rabbi the Halacha, and you'll carry your Megillah for Amos and Rosh Hashanah. Now,
then I ask the Rabbi, in case you don't read the Megillah on Shabbos and Purim is on Shabbos, why don't you say Hallel on Shabbos?
why don't we say Hallel? There's no Hallel on Purim.
No, I know, because there is a Megillah. But when you say on Shabbos we do not read the Megillah, there is no reason why you shouldn't say Hallel.
That's a very good point. Thinking about, I didn't think about that question, but it could be because we lay in the Megillah already on Friday, so you've said your Hallel. We do
because
lay the
I
Megillah.
heard that in Israel they say Al Nissim on Shabbos. Last Shabbos in Israel they said Al Nissim.
Correct. They said Al Nissim on Shabbos and they lay in the Megillah on Friday.
Yes.
So because they've laid in the Megillah, you have a good question. Why don't they lay in the Megillah on Friday and say Hallel on Shabbos? Right? Some explain that the reason why
Instead
there is no Hallel.
Instead of reading the Megillah.
I don't know, instead, because they do in Israel, they do read the Megillah. They only do it the day before.
Yes, okay, but when you say that you don't read the Megillah on Shabbos, you could, as an alternative, say Hallel and read the Megillah on Friday or even on Sunday, but normally speaking. But when there is no Megillah on Shabbos and Purim is on Shabbos, why do you say Al Nissim in Israel and why don't you say Hallel?
That is a good question. The reason I'm thinking of an answer right now, because there's a few reasons why we don't say Hallel on Purim. One is, like you are saying, that we do say it's only included in the Megillah, because we're already saying the Shvach, the whole story, it's included in the Megillah. Some explain that the reason why there's no Hallel on Purim is because the nest took place in Chutz La'aretz. A nest of Chutz La'aretz is not Machayev Hallel. According to that answer, it explains why we don't say Hallel even if Purim's on Shabbos and we don't lay in the Megillah. Because the fact is that the nest was in Chutz La'aretz. Your question will be, Mr. Mabrach, according to the explanation that included in Megillah is Hallel, then if we're not saying Hallel on Shabbos, then we could say, we're not saying the Megillah on Shabbos like last week in Eretz Yisrael, we could have done the Megillah on Shabbos. That's a good question. As they say in Nederland, it's a goede vraag. Een goede antwoord heb ik niet.
Okay, good luck.
Okay, so let's go further. It's very interesting, this topic. Now, before we go further, a simple question. We said we don't in the Megillah last week in Eretz Yisrael. There was no Megillah on Shabbos. Why not? Gzeira, Chazal said, Shemo ya'avirenu dalet amos. You might come to carry your Megillah for Amos in Rosh Hashanah to ask the Rav what to do. But I have a question. What about every Shabbos? We learn from the Sefer Torah every Shabbos. What's the difference from learning from a Sefer Torah every Shabbos and reading from the Megillah on Shabbos? Don't learn from Megillah, because you might come to ask the rabbi. So I'll tell you, don't learn from the Sefer Torah because you might come to ask the rabbi. What's the answer?
Sefer Torah is min hashamayim.
Therefore,
It's
why
a higher
is there?
state- It's a higher status.
But so the mitzvah of blowing the shofar is also mitzvah min Torah. What's
Yes, correct.
But the reason that I don't do Megillah on Shabbos, because you might have a question. You might have a question, and therefore you'll carry it in Rosh Hashanah. Why won't you have a question every Shabbos with your Sefer Torah? So the answer to that is, some explain, is because since Sefer Torah reading the Parashah and taking out this Sefer Torah from the Orna Kodesh is done every single week, therefore there is less of a chashash, of a worry that you might come to carry your Sefer Torah in the Rosh Hashanah. But shofar, lulav, and Megillah, which are mitzvahs which are a one-off, which not so frequent. If it's not so frequent, therefore there's more of a worry that you might come to ask a question how to do it, or whether it's kosher, or can I borrow. Therefore, says the Gemara, don't do Megillah on Shabbos. Now, I'll tell you a very, very interesting Tosfos. Tosfos has the following question. We all know that if a baby is born on Shabbos, a baby boy, and his bris is bismanoi, his bris is on the 8th day, then even if it is on Shabbos, we do the bris milah on Shabbos. Right? Asks Tosfos a good question. Why is a bris allowed to be on Shabbos? Since you might not know what to do, you might come to ask a question and either carry the baby or carry the knife, whatever the situation is. The same as we are worried, you might come to ask a question with your shofar, with your lulav, with your Megillah. Asks Tosfos, the same logic should apply to a bris milah on Shabbos. The moihel also might come to ask a question with his knife, or they might come to carry the baby. We should also not do a bris milah on Shabbos. Why did Chazal only make a gezerah by shofar and lulav and Megillah and not by bris milah? That is a question of Tosfos. Okay, what do you say? Who has a good answer before I tell you what Tosfos says?
May I try?
Always
It has to do with the physical health of the baby, because when the baby is okay, there's no objection to do it on the 8th day. Whereas when you postpone it because of the Shabbos, the 9th day, it could be different. I think that's the point, because the bris milah is on a human being, and the others are, let's say, material subjects. But I still have one other question for you. When it is so critical, why are we allowed to sit in a sukkah on the first day of Sukkot with the risk that something could be damaged at the sukkah, when the sukkah will be posel?
Okay, so let's do one at a time. You're saying by a baby, if we push it off, there's a risk of health.
Yes.
Now, I don't know the ins and outs of the health of a baby, but sometimes a baby is, we can't always do the bris on the 8th day. Does that make
Correct.
it more dangerous to postpone a bris? If a baby can have his bris milah on the 8th day, you're only, in my mind, postponing a mitzvah if you delay. But health-wise, is it dangerous medically to do the bris a day later? I've never heard of such a thing. They say that it's healthy for the baby. Now, we say that cutting off a part of the baby is dangerous, and it's all the complaints against the mitzvah of bris milah. that has been proven that it doesn't harm anything to the baby at all. The baby might cry, of course, but there's no danger in any way to the boy's life in the future.
I know there's a story in Amsterdam that once a mohel had to go to on Shabbos on the northern part of Amsterdam, which is quite a walk of a few hours, and that he brought his suitcase with all the material he needed before Shabbos there and walked over there in order to do the bris on time.
Okay, that is amazing. But if there would be an Eruv, he can anyway take it with him.
No, but without an Eruv,
Very good. So without an
there was
Eruv,
no
that's why he
Eruv.
wanted the bris to be on time, so he did it before Shabbos. Very good.
Yes.
But that's
Yes.
exactly that. But my question to you is, how can he do the bris on Shabbos, and so does everyone around the world, any baby which is born on Shabbos? You're doing a bris. Why didn't Chazal say a baby boy should not have his bris on Shabbos? Because they might come to a Chilul Shabbos of carrying 4 amas. When it comes to Shofar, when it comes to Megillah, when it comes to Lulav, till today, we don't do any of this on Shabbos. Last week in Eretz Yisrael, there was no Megillah on Shabbos. Rosh
It's
Hashanah.
a question of law of Torah.
Sorry?
It's the law of Torah.
So is it the law of the Torah to blow the shofar on Shabbos? If you look in the Torah,
no,
yes.
no. The Brit Milah is a real law after 8 days, and the Lulav and the Megillah are not laws of Torah. Do it exactly after some days and do it on Yom Tov.
It's written in a different way. It doesn't say on the 8th day. What it does say very clearly, if you look in Parashas Pinchos, it says that ulokachtem lochem bayoim horishon. Take for yourself on the first day of Sukkot. So whenever the first day of Sukkot arrives, it says very clearly in the Torah, take for yourself 3 eighths Hadar, which is a esrog, kapois timorim, anaf eitz ovos v'arvei nochal, which is the lulav, hadassim, and arovas. It says in the Torah very clearly, on the first day of Sukkot, you should take the arba minim, the lulav, esrog, hadassim, and arovas. That it says very clearly. And if Sukkot is on a Shabbos, the mitzvah should also apply. Because it doesn't say in the Torah only if it's on a weekday. It says on the first day of Sukkot, this is what you should do. So if the first day of Sukkot is on a Shabbos, that's also what you should do. And if you look in the Parsha, when it talks about the first day of the 7th month, which is the first day of Tishri, which is Rosh Hashanah, it says you should blow the shofar, Zichron Teruah. You should blow the Teruah, Yi Elechem. Yom Teruah, the day of blowing. So if the first of the 7th month is on a Shabbos, then you should take your shofar and blow it.
Yes,
Now,
and so it's forbidden to carry it. But why can't we ask a non-Jew to carry it for us?
so I ask you the same question. So why can't non-Jew carry the shofar?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay. So we're going backwards. Now you're asking yourself, we want to understand even by shofar. Why by shofar don't we say ask a non-Jew to carry it for you? That's not answering my question about bris milah. You're asking why by shofar do we say that we can't ask a non-Jew? Answer to that, I don't know. But what I do see is that Chazal were worried, like we said before, a one-off person might forget. That means there might be someone in a place that has no Eruv, has a question, will forget it's Shabbos and come to carry. If you think about it, it's a crazy far-fetched. Because of that one-off place, he might forget to ask the guy to carry the shofar to him to shul before Shabbos. He might forget the Shabbos, and so on and so on and so on, and therefore he will be over Shabbos. Because of that, boom, there's no mitzvah of blowing the shofar. Still today, 2,500 years later, in the whole Klal Yisrael. We see how far. I mean, that's what we're doing still today, right? We do not do the blow. If someone blows the shofar on Shabbos, then you're just kind of against Chazal. So no one blows shofar on Shabbos. No one shakes lulav on Shabbos. Why? In the Torah it says you should. The Rabbanon said step down. The Rabbanon will never tell you do an Avera. The Rabbanon had the koyach to tell you postpone the mitzvah. Rabbanon will never tell you go eat chazer. Go do something which is wrong. Rabbanon had the koyach to say, hey, stop a minute, don't do the mitzvah.
So it's not forbidden for a mohel to ask something a non-Jew. So if he was forgot to bring his tools with him to carry it for him.
Good, that he can do. But my question is, which is not my question, which Tosfos asked, the Rishonim asked the question, they're trying to understand. Chazal, the Rabbanon made the gezerah. Don't do shofar on Shabbos, don't do lulav on Shabbos. But they didn't say anything about don't doing a bris on Shabbos. They allowed you to do a bris on Shabbos. Why weren't they worried? The same worry that they had by shofar, why did they not have by bris milah? So you're right. The Torah says do a bris milah on Shabbos, or by Yom Hashmini Yimal Basara Losoi, on the 8th day of a baby boy being born. You should do the bris milah even on Shabbos. Ask Tosfos, you're right. According to the Torah, I should do it on Shabbos. But the Chazal should say, hey, step back. We want you not to do it today. Do it tomorrow because maybe you're going to have a question and you'll come to carry the baby or the night. Now, I'll tell you what Tosfos says. A very interesting answer. It could be there's a few answers, but I'll share with you the answer that Tosfos says. Tosfos says like this. And it's very logic. He explains, when did the Rabbanon say, don't do a mitzvah on Shabbos? A mitzvah which everyone is going to do today. Shofar, the whole Klal Yisrael will be doing shofar today. Says Rabbanon, don't do it today. None of you should. Lulav and Megillah, if Megillah is on Shabbos, says Rabbanon, all of you were going to do the mitzvah today. The whole Klal Yisrael were going to do the mitzvah today. Comes the Rabbanon and says, hey, don't do it today. None of you should do it today. Why? Because if all of you will be busy doing the mitzvah today, then if one of you have a question or is doubting whether the shofar is kosher or whether I want to carry the mitzvah, since you're all busy with the mitzvah, one of you might come to do a mistake and carry 4 amos in the Rishus HaRabim, and that's not allowed. But by bris milah, not everyone in Klal Yisrael is doing a bris today. You might have many babies being born on Shabbos, and around the world there will be a bris today on Shabbos. But you cannot say that the whole Klal Yisrael today is doing a bris milah. It doesn't go like that. Therefore, since 99% of Jews are not doing a bris milah today, there was no worry that this mohel might come to carry his knife, because no one's busy with the bris milah. So therefore, if he's going to carry or he has a question, people will tell him. People who are not involved in the mitzvah will say, hey, it's not Shabbos, it's Shabbos today, you can't do that. Only if everyone is involved in the mitzvah are we worried there'll be a mistake. If only one person is involved, we are not worried. Therefore, says Tosfos, by bris milah, since it's only one person doing the mitzvah, we are not worried. I'm sorry, I'll give you some, okay? But by Megillah, where everyone is doing the mitzvah, we are worried. Okay, that's the explanation of Tosfos, why bris milah on Shabbos is different than other mitzvahs. Bris milah, we're not worried, and Megillah, shofar, lulav, we are worried. Now, I have...
Because it's the same on Yom Kippur.
On Yom Kippur, well, with regard
Bris
to what?
milah on Yom Kippur, it's
Bris
the
milah
same
is
rule.
Yeah, bris milah. I've been in shul on Yom Kippur in Israel, where we had the bris on Shabbos afternoon on Yom Kippur.
Yeah.
That's what we had also in Amsterdam. One of the
Hey,
sons of our Mepalalim, yes.
Yeah.
There was a bris on Yom Kippur.
Yes.
Son van Baruch.
Yeah.
Mikey.
The
Yeah, you're
middle
right.
son.
Yeah, Mikey was born. Mikey
Mikey.
Vanderkamp. He was born on Tzom Gedalia.
Yeah.
So his bris was Yom Kippur. All right. Wow.
Yep.
So the su'uda for the bris was Motzei Yom Kippur. It wasn't between.
No, it was after Minche.
between Mincha and Ne'ilah.
Okay, in de pauze.
Yeah. There's a question. If you have a su'uda on Yom Kippur, whether you say Yalav Yovoi.
If you eat,
If you eat,
you have to
yeah.
pay.
But
Yeah.
the children,
Yeah,
for the children, it is a yonter, so why not?
It's Yom Tov.
Yeah, so probably, yeah, Pashtus you do. And say, like I said down, Yom Kippur, something like that.
Yes, why not?
But I don't think they made the Su'uda, Brisuda on between Mincha and Ne'ilah. So Motzei Yom Kippur, they had the Brisuda. Okay, so a bris is any day of the year, whether it's Yom Kippur, whether it's Shabbos, Yom Kippur on Shabbos, if the 8th day, only if it's the 8th day. If the bris has been delayed for whatever reason, the baby was yellow or the baby wasn't well, then it's not going to be on Shabbos or Yom Kippur or even Yom Tov. It's only going to be on Shabbos.
Day.
It's on the 8th day. Okay, so now let's keep this Tosfos in our mind, what we just now said. The difference between bris and other. Ask mommy. Sorry, my baby just here. Ask mommy. Okay. The difference between bris and other mitzvahs is because bris, not everyone is involved. Only a mitzvah where everyone is involved, did Chazal say don't do it. But bris, only the moil is doing it. Okay, so now I have a interesting question, which is tell me what you think, and that is last Shabbos in Eretz Yisrael, right, was Purim, and they did not learn the Megillah on Shabbos, they learned the Megillah on Friday. 2 mitzvahs were on Friday and 2 mitzvahs were on Sunday. Megillah and Matonos Levyonim on Friday. Mishlach
Only Yerushalayim.
in Yerushalayim.
Ja. Die zei eerste school, Yerushalayim.
Sorry, in Yerushalayim. In Yerushalayim, 2 mitzvahs were on Sunday, the mitzvah of Mishta and the mitzvah of Mishlach Monos. Now, why were 2 on Friday and 2 on Sunday? Because the explanation is like this. The mitzvah of Purim is really on Shabbos. That's the 14th of Adar, is on Shabbos. Now, we can't learn the Megillah on Shabbos, like we said, because you have to, there's a chashash. You might come to carry 4 Amos in the Rosh Hashanah. Now, so why don't we postpone Megillah and do everything on Sunday? Do everything on Sunday. Why do 2 on Sunday, 2 on Friday, and 2 on Sunday? The answer is because since the Megillah is announcing the Nes, we are discussing, we're saying, hey, HaKadosh Baruch Hu did the Nes to us. We announce and we publicize the Nes of the story of the Megillah. Better to announce it before and say, tomorrow is a big day, than to say that yesterday was a big day. If we're reading something, it's better to say tomorrow is going to be a big day than to say that yesterday was a big day. That's why we do the Megillah on Friday and not on Sunday in Yerushalayim. Now, why is Matonos Levyonim also on Friday? The answer is because in the Megillah we read that there's a mitzvah to give money to the poor, and the poor man is going to hear, hey, you're going to be getting money today. And if he has to wait, then he's going to get worried, he's going to get upset. So because we're reading the Megillah on Friday and the poor man is going to hear that we're reading, that he's going to get money, we want to give the money on the day that he's heard he's getting money. That's why Mikra Megillah and Matonos Levyonim in Yerushalayim was on Friday. Now, why did we not do the Su'udah in Yerushalayim on Shabbos? Do the Su'udah on Shabbos. What's the answer? Sorry, 1 second. Okay, Chai, go upstairs. Okay. Okay, Chai, go upstairs tomorrow, okay? Sorry, I'm just at home, so I have... Sorry, 1 second. I have to go upstairs, okay? Sorry. So why don't we make the Su'udah? Why don't we do the Mishnah on Shabbos?
Oh, on Friday. Everything direct.
Oh, yeah.
No Purim Shushan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, let's start. Yeah.
Do everything then, one day.
Oh, so do everything on Friday. Oh, I asked you before that. Why don't we do the Su'udah on Shabbos, which is the day? The boy by Yom. Do the Su'udah on Shabbos. Why didn't Yerushalayim make a Su'udah by Shalosh Shudas time? Make a nice Mishnah. Because the answer is because it says in the Megillah that Purim is a day La sois oisam yemei Mishnah v'simcha. Purim has to become a day of Mishnah v'simcha, drinking and being happy. Now, if you're having a Su'udah on Shabbos, Shabbos itself is a day where you're supposed to have a Su'udah and be happy. Maybe not on the same level. But if I do it together with Shabbos, then you're combining, you're joining. And it says in the Megillah, La asais oisam, you made Mishnah v'simcha. Purim should be made especially a day of Mishnah v'simcha. So if I do it on Shabbos, I'm not making it specially for Purim because it's joined with Shabbos. Because Shabbos anyway is a day of having a Su'udah. So if I join it with Shabbos, it's not specially for Purim. That's why you don't do it on Shabbos. Now you're asking, why don't I do it on... Sorry, your mic's on mute, Mr. Mabrach.
It's the same, like it's Yom Tov on Shabbos. Then you have also
you're right.
one Suda.
You can, but by Yom Tov it doesn't say.
Okay, you can, but you
have to
also you miss one Suda.
Yeah, but we Yom Tov is Yom Tov, but Purim.
But Yom Tov Shabbos.
Yeah, that Suda has to be made especially for Purim. By Purim, it's written make a Suda especially for Purim. Last is Oisam, make Purim especially Suda. Now, if I have a Suda on Shabbos, it doesn't look like you're making a special Suda for Purim. So that's why Purim has to have its own Suda. Yom Tov is a day where on Yom Tov, you want to enjoy the day. You're right. So if Yom Tov is on Shabbos, we don't delay Yom Tov. But Purim is supposed to have its own Suda. So if you're having your own Suda, as it's written clearly, make your own Suda for Purim. If I do it on Shabbos, then it's joined with something else. Now you're asking, why don't I make the Suda on Friday? So the answer is that to celebrate, we celebrate after the Ness has happened, not before.
Okay.
If I want to have a Su'udah, I have a Su'udah, hey, a Ness happened today or a Ness happened yesterday. I don't have a Su'udah on Friday because tomorrow a Ness is going to happen. A Su'udah is for something that was done. Therefore, you have a Su'udah on Sunday, not on Friday. Masha'enk in the Megillah is where you're announcing, you're reading something that happened. You're going to read that tomorrow is going to be a special day. You're only reading, you're not sitting and having a Su'udah. To read and announce the Megillah is for tomorrow. Tomorrow, you should know, everyone is going to be a big day. To sit down and have a Su'udah, you don't do because tomorrow is going to be a good day. You sit and have a Su'udah for something that happened. So therefore, it's very interesting. Megillah and Matanos Leviyonim go together on Friday in Yerushalayim. The Mishnah can't be on Shabbos and it can't be earlier. Therefore, we have it on Sunday. Mishlach Monos, which we give to people to have food for the Mishnah, goes together with the Megillah, goes together with the Su'udah, and that's why Mishlach Monos and the Su'udah is together on Sunday, and Mikra Megillah and Matanos Leviyonim is together on Friday. And on Shabbos, they had last week just Al Nisim and the lane for Mafte, the Vayovay Amalek. Okay, now here's an interesting question. A boy simple, nice geschmack question. A boy who became bar mitzvah last Shabbos in Yerushalayim. His birthday was last Shabbos. So he wasn't bar mitzvah, he wasn't mechuyev mitzvahs on Friday. He became mechuyev mitzvahs on Shabbos. What does this boy do? Let's start like this. I'll ask you with regards to Megillah. On Friday, he wasn't mechuyev Megillah. On Shabbos, he became mechuyev Megillah. So I ask you, maybe he should learn Megillah today on Shabbos. So you'll tell me no. He's not allowed to learn Megillah on Shabbos. Because on Shabbos, we don't learn Megillah. Yeah, Mr. Maprach.
We learned this also from the Gemara in the Daf Yomi with regard to the mitzvahs on Pesach.
That what?
It was the same situation, whether or not the bar mitzvah boy is obliged to eat from the Pesach.
He became bar mitzvah after they already brought the korban.
Yes.
The korban was on Friday, on the 14th, on Erev. Yes. And he only became, So what does the Gemara say?
Oh.
Okay.
Not by heart, sorry.
Okay. No. Okay, I don't remember. But that's a similar question. So there, he wasn't part of the chiyuv at the time of the korban, because the korban was the day before, and the eating only by night of the 15th. Yeah.
Yes.
So this is a similar question.
He didn't have a share in the korban Pesach, but after that he was obliged to eat from it.
Right. So by korban Pesach it could be, but since he wasn't part of it at the time of the korban, he's not part of it even when he becomes mechuyev. Interesting.
No, but the Megillah should be heard by everyone who can hear and understand it. So even children underage should hear it.
You're right. So he should hear it. He should hear it on Friday, and he probably did. But my question is now on Shabbos, he's obligated. He's mechuyev now to the Megillah. On Friday, he was not obligated. He's only as chinuch, a child, like every child.
Yes.
On 13, the day he becomes 13, he becomes now obligated.
Yes.
If he becomes obligated, then he only did his mitzvah on Friday when he wasn't obligated.
Yes.
So what should this boy do today on Shabbos?
Well, he could eventually hear the Megillah after Nacht, although there's no Shabbos anymore, but that is the first possibility. Or he has to wait for a year. Or maybe...
Why he has to wait? Why he has to hear?
Now he's hearing it on Friday.
He wasn't bar mitzvah.
So he could try to find someone who will read the Megillah for him after Nacht, or he could read the Megillah for himself.
When? After Nacht?
Or on Shabbos. It's not forbidden to read the Megillah on Shabbos.
But here comes the question. If this boy reads the Megillah on Shabbos...
For himself.
But what happened to the problem of not reading the Megillah on Shabbos? Because you might come to carry...
Because there is a difference in reading the Megillah with hearing the brochas or with reading the Megillah like it is a story from a book.
So this boy wants to read it from the Megillah. He wants to be yoyed to the mitzvah properly from a Megillah, not from a Chumash. Would you tell him to take the Megillah out and read it from the Megillah on Shabbos afternoon?
No, because I think the Megillah is muktzah.
Why is it muktzah? Only because there's no mitzvah, because he might come to carry.
Yes.
No. So
that's why I'm in the word book, because what people could do, when we advise people who could not Zoom and who could not hear the Megillah in shul, you can always read the Megillah for yourselves.
Okay, so for him to read it on Shabbos afternoon is not a problem.
No.
Because you can always take a chumash and read it.
Yes.
My question is more than that. Number one, is he obligated to read the Megillah today? Maybe, since Chazal said no Megillah on Shabbos, because the person might come to carry, therefore this boy too is not obligated, because today there's no mitzvah of reading Megillah. The same as the rest of the Jews in Yerushalayim are not mechuyev to read the Megillah today. So it happens to be they did it yesterday on Friday, but this boy wasn't obligated yesterday. But since today is a day where there's no chiyuv for Klal Yisrael in Yerushalayim to read the Megillah, this boy is included, and therefore he's not obligated, even if he only became mechuyev today. So he's not obligated. Number two is, if you want to say he is obligated, because he became mechuyev today, and yesterday he wasn't mechuyev, why is there no chashash that he might come to carry the Megillah the same as everyone else is not obligated because they might come to carry the Megillah? So it's double-sided. If on one side we say he's not obligated because the whole Klal Yisrael is not obligated and he's part of Klal Yisrael, even though Klal Yisrael were not read yesterday and he wasn't mechuyev, and today he is mechuyev because they became a mitzvah. But this is the way it is because he's part of Klal Yisrael and Klal Yisrael are not mechuyev to read today. Or no, he's not part of Klal Yisrael because Klal Yisrael read yesterday and he didn't read yesterday. He only read today. He only became mechuyev today. So therefore, he is obligated. If so, I ask you a question: how can he be obligated? He's got a chashash. He might come to carry the Megillah. Arba Amos and Rabbi. Obligated means mechuyev to read it the normal way, like everyone's chiyuv. So let me tell you something interesting. I think our discussion on Pesach would have to do next week. But let's let's as they say wrap this up. I mentioned to you a Tosfos before. Tosfos says, why is the mitzvah of bris milah yes on Shabbos, and there's no chashash that you might come to carry the baby or the knife in the Rishus Rabbim? So we explain. Tosfos says that since not everyone is busy with it, only a moyel here and a moyel there, a baby here and a baby there, 99% of Klal Yisrael are not busy with the bris milah. So then there's no chashash that you might come to carry because everyone else will stop you or make sure because no one else is busy with the mitzvah. So Tosfos learns somewhere in a situation where there's a one-off, there's no chashash. Only when Klal Yisrael are doing the mitzvah, like shofar, there's a chashash. If a moyel is doing the mitzvah, there's no chashash. According to Tosfos, it should come out like this. If a boy is bar mitzvah on Shabbos in Yerushalayim last week, if he would be obligated, because today he became mechuyev and yesterday he wasn't mechuyev, therefore who would be reading the Megillah in Yerushalayim? How many boys will become bar mitzvah on Shabbos in Yerushalayim last week?
Well, let's say that they can form a minyan. Then they only need one adult to read the Megillah for them.
Exactly. So how many?
That adult could bring the Megillah before Shabbos in shul. That's exactly my
exactly. So like you're saying, according to Tosfos, in a situation where only one or two people are obligated with the mitzvah, there's no chashash. So how many boys can become bar mitzvah last week in Yerushalayim? 100? 99?
All of them, in principle, all of them.
No, but 99.9 of Yerushalayim are not going to be doing the Megillah today because they've already done it on Friday.
But those boys who are obligated to hear it on Shabbos, when they can form a minyan, or all the boys in Yerushalayim could
according to Tosfos, they should form a minyan and make their own Megillah. Or at least the boy himself should get someone to read it for him. Why? Our question was that if he's obligated to read the Megillah, why is there no chashash that he might come to carry the Megillah?
Because it's only for them and not for everyone.
Oh, very good. So if we're going with that explanation at Tosfos, then a boy who became bar mitzvah last week in Yerushalayim on Shabbos is obligated to read the Megillah on Shabbos from a klaf, from a Megillah. Why are we not worried that he might come to carry the Megillah like everyone else? According to Tosfos, no, we're not worried. If there's a one-off boy somewhere, then we're not worried. Because the same as we're not worried by bris milah, he's not going to carry it because everyone else is not busy with the mitzvah, they'll stop him. Only if everyone is busy is Chazal worried. A one-off boy in Yerushalayim, according to this, he should be obligated to read the Megillah on Shabbos. Now, I'm not telling you that Halacha L'maisa, they're going to tell you for that to do. But what is interesting to know is that according to the explanation of Tosfos, it would come out that he should read the Megillah on Shabbos. Now, there is a little bit of a question on that. What would be if another situation. What would be if someone read the Megillah on, no, let's go to a situation like this. What happens if a boy on Shabbos Rosh Hashanah takes the shofar and blows the shofar?
A number mitzvah boy.
A number mitzvah boy, a cotton.
Okay, no boy. Okay.
Cotton. So a cotton is not
Cotton.
of the mitzvahs, but he wants to do the mitzvah. And like we know by every mitzvah, a cotton should do it. But for chinuch, we mechanech a child.
Yeah.
So what happens if a normal Rosh Hashanah, a boy who's 12 years old, takes a shofar and he wants to blow himself the shofar today?
Then his son has to pay.
I don't think he's ginnig again. He's not ginnig.
Oh, so what's my question is, should you stop him or not?
Yes.
Now, I ask you, why are you going to stop him? Because?
It's not allowed.
Oh, why is it not allowed? Because there's no chiyuv today. Why is no chiyuv? Because you might come to carry.
Mm-hmm.
But you'll only come to carry because Chazal said no one should blow the shofar today. But a child, a one-off child who's blowing the shofar for himself, why should the father stop him? Why is there a problem? The only reason why there's a problem
Een speelgoed is een instrument voor hem.
that he should know that when he
Dus moekse.
yeah, but the
Could
only
it be Ozen Hara?
sorry?
Could it be Ozen Hara instead of Ayin Hara?
Ah.
Nou, het is moekse. Dus een trompet is een speelgoedje voor...
Now, someone who is passing the house might think that the boss is blowing the shofar. Come on.
Ah. So I would say like you. I would say the same thing, that you should tell him not to blow the shofar because you want to mechanech him, that he should know that today is the day that no one blows the shofar. But there is an interesting discussion about that, and I don't know how much my father is mechuyev to stop him. The only reason why you should stop him is because he's doing something wrong. Why is he doing something wrong? Because he's not allowed to blow the shofar on Shabbos. But why are you not allowed to blow the shofar on Shabbos? Because you might come to carry. But you only might come
He's at home.
if everyone
He didn't carry.
and but if this
Then
boy
it's
is the
better
only
to
one
say that it is muktzeh. It is better
It's
to say to a
muktzeh, yeah,
child, you can't do
muktzeh.
it because it's muktzeh, then you're not allowed to carry.
yeah, but muksa is stage 2. Why is something muksa? Because you're not allowed to blow. The reason why your shofar is muksa, we don't blow shofar on Shabbos, is not because the shofar is muksa. The reason why it's muksa is because we don't blow.
I don't agree. I don't
Why
think I can agree to that. No, I'm sorry. When something is muktzeh, you cannot use it. It has nothing to do with carrying. You said
Why
have
is your
100
shofar?
objects in the house are muktzeh without carrying outside.
No, but why is your shofar muksa on Shabbos? It's not muksa on Yom Tov.
Because for the shofar, the understanding of muktzeh does not exist. When it is Yom Tov, is no Shabbos, so then on Yom Tov you are allowed to carry. And you have the obligation to blow instead of blowing on Shabbos.
No,
But when you are in the house, everything what is normally muktzeh, you are not allowed to use it on Shabbos in the house.
Let me go backwards. Why don't we blow shofar on Shabbos?
You say because of the danger of carrying. I say because it's muktzeh.
But why is it muksa? Why is shofar muksa?
Because it is an object you should not touch on Shabbos.
Why not? I got a mitzvah to blow. Why can't I touch it?
No, you have a mitzvah to blow, but that goes for everyone, and no one is doing it on Shabbos. Come on.
Why not? Why not?
But why not? Because it's not. Because of the danger of possible carrying.
Oh, so because of the danger of possible carrying, therefore no one's touching it. Therefore, it's muksa.
So you could make music on Shabbos in the house with the trumpet or something like that?
No, that's not a problem.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to do trumpet on Shabbos. Because I'm not allowed to blow. Why is my trumpet muksa? Because I'm not allowed to make a trumpet on Shabbos. That's why it's muksa. I don't not blow trumpet because it's muksa. It's muksa because I'm not allowed to blow trumpet.
Oh, we can discuss this for hours, but
Okay.
I'm not yet convinced.
It's an interesting topic. I'm running, but maybe we'll continue a little bit in this topic next week.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much, everyone.
Okay,
I
thank you.
have a
Bye.
request, Rab Dunner.
Yes.
I have a request
Yeah.
about meat. Can you tell us another time about meat? Because I will tell you, I'm not a vegetarian, but we have a milky housekeeping for 3 years now, and I was born as a vegetarian. But I'm not a vegetarian because we eat fish. And I want to know exactly what about mitzvahs in meat, because worldwide this problem. It's shechita, it's the animals are not healthy, it's everywhere problem. So why we can't at the milkish house and even fish become a healthy problem? What's the point?
But then you have to separate health and halacha. There's halacha which is about shechita.
Yes, but if
Health-
if something is not healthy, it's a logic question because you don't eat it, you don't use it. It's if it's not healthy. But maybe another time about me.
Okay, maybe we'll discuss more what we want to discuss. Okay, I want to finish the time.
Okay.
So thank you very much, everyone. Shkoyach.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.